Hi, my name is Alex Ibbotson with Canada Backcountry Services, and I'd like to thank Donegal Wilson and the BC Snowmobile Federation for this engaging sledsafer campaign. I was a little bit late for the Get the Gear. The due date was October, but I still want to show you my gear. Alright, so start with some comms. Two different radios. The one radio, the BC A 1.0 radio, FRS, GMRS. This is great for when I'm out riding recreationally. This tends to be the type of radio that everyone has, so I'm able to communicate with a lot more people this way. Great range, really handy to have your volume control on your mic with this one. BCA is also coming out with a 2.0, and so I'm really excited to try that one. When I'm out as a Canadian Ranger, which is a subcomponent of the Reserve of the Canadian Armed Forces, we have a different type of radio that we have to use for VHF, UHF, dual band radios, and these, it's nice because we have our own Canadian Ranger frequency, so we don't get into trouble by using other people's frequencies. But if you are using these, you want to watch out for that. They're handy because you can communicate with truck drivers if you're on a logging road. Cool. So, on the comms, I also have a GPS two-way communicator in reach. Mine's a DeLorean, but they're now Garmin's. And yeah, these are sort of an essential communication tool in the backcountry now. Everybody's using them. You'll want to practice with them. Make sure you know how to use it properly. So this is going to be on my person, and I'm going to start with everything that I keep in my avalanche bag. I still have to go pick up my avalanche bag, so it's just sitting here in a little pile. But all this stuff I was able to keep in a 10-liter avalanche bag last season, and I'm upgrading to a BCA vest, Mountain Pro vest this year. So I'm going to have 25 liters, so I'll have lots of room for snacks. Starting with shelter. You always want to have a shelter. This isn't going to be the most comfortable shelter, but at least I won't freeze to death if I end up having to stay overnight. So a space blanket tarp and a sill tarp. Quite large, packs up nicely, and if you get a fire going, you can probably stay pretty warm. You'll want a local area map and a compass. So the compass is obviously for navigation if your GPS batteries die or something happens to it, but it also is a secondary signal mirror, so this is quite important. On signaling, there's also flares. And then I have a little survival kit. I keep candles in here, a couple lighters, a pressure bandage for first aid, some high-calorie snacks, some tinder to get a fire going if I can't find anything dry, a pocket mask in case someone needs ventilation assistance, and oh yeah, 2 sets of extra batteries for my GPS, 2 sets of extra batteries for my headlamp, and a spare headlamp. Cordelette. Quite nice for building a shelter or stringing things together. This is an essential survival item. And of course, a survival knife. I'm going to keep this right on my vest so it's nice and accessible. Want to keep it nice and sharp. And that has a flint on it as well for fire starting. Several different ways to start fire. On myself, I keep a minimal amount of zap straps in different sizes, and these white ones, these large ones, are actually used for first aid. Splinting a broken bone, they're quite helpful. And then I keep more in my tunnel bag. Electrolyte tablets, saw. Probably have to do some logging in the backcountry every now and then. 5 meters of high-strength webbing. You can make a climbing harness out of this. You can do all sorts of cool things. It's quite robust. Tow a sled, piece some things back together. Handy. I generally keep this strap right in my inside pocket in case someone needs a ski tow out of a out of a tree well, and it's really nice and accessible either there or in my front console of my Skidoo. Shovel, you always want to keep your shovel and probe on you. Some people are getting into the habit of keeping it on their snowmobile, much like all this other survival gear. I want to assume that my snowmobile is gone and I still have everything I need with me in my backpack. I really love this new style of shovel. It's got kind of a different shaped shaft, and I just find it never ices up. I tend to get my shovel handles iced up and I'll break them. Probe. And I'm starting to have a hydro pack this year. I used to just have the 1 liter water bottle before, and just finding I'm not hydrating, so I'm moving to that. Okay, on to, oh yeah. And then also you want to be able to fit, one of the reasons I'm moving to a 25 liter, so that I could fit a extra layer, just in case it starts getting chilly. If I'm not wearing it, I'll always want that in my pack, especially for the ride down. So I really like this tunnel bag. I used it all last season, the BCA Mountain Pro tunnel bag. You'll notice I keep a spare shovel on my bag. Depends what kind of riding I'm doing, but if I'm coaching or instructing, often I'll have to be digging some sleds out a little bit more frequently, so it's handy to have it on your pack, on your sled, so you don't have to take your pack off every time you need to. Get out a shovel. All right, so 15 meters of high strength webbing. Again, quite useful. Trail gloves. You want your fingers freezing at the end of the day. When you're coming down on the trail, it's quite easy to get cold hands at that point. Lots of duct tape. First aid kit. In here I also have 2 really high strength slings and 3 locking carabiners if I need to create a pulley system. A thermal bivvy. This is more first aid if someone's injured. One of the primary things you need to do in the backcountry is keep them warm. Otherwise they have a higher risk of going into shock. And when you're out there, you can't really do much for them in that case. So big thing, keep them warm, keep them off the ground. So I'm combining a sleeping pad. This is the first time I'll be carrying a sleeping pad this robust with me in the backcountry, and then with a thermal bivvy. More carabiners. I also keep carabiners on my pack and holding my tether on and my pack together. So lots of bits that you can pull together in an event if you need them. All right, I have my BCA Snow Science Kit to do avalanche observations or look at the snowpack and keep track of all the information we're gathering out there so I can share it with my friends. Another outer layer, down jacket. This is primarily for guests. The other one that I keep on me is for myself, and then this is for in case someone gets hurt or a guest getting chilly. 2 spare sets of goggles. Some days you don't need them, but chances are someone's going to. Working really hard, getting stuck, sometimes you start fogging them up. So this is a Canadian Ranger essential that we have to carry, is a stove and a pot, complete with fuel. So just like any safety equipment, once you get used to carrying it, it's really hard to go back to not carrying it. So a lot of people think I carry too much stuff, but honestly, this is such a low profile tunnel bag, I don't even notice it. And it actually sits up off the tunnel with the adapter kit for the Skidoo, for Skidoos. And I haven't had any problem with overheating, and my feet don't get caught on it when I'm shifting over the seat. Another little space blanket, just in case you need it. Tons of emergency snacks. 2 SAM splints. This is more for like a neck brace thing, because for legs we can use probes and sticks and whatnot. Alright, so that's my tunnel bag. And I'm pretty lucky on a Skidoo. I have tons of cute little compartment spaces on my snowmobile. Sorry, I missed my emergency whistle on my first one. That's an essential PPE for backcountry, and also for, you know, lots of other activities. So my handlebar case, tools, flathead of course, pliers. I do really like these little specialty vice grips, teeny little guys. If you've ever had a Skidoo throttle cable sensor get tampered with in the backcountry from smashing into trees, this is a really good fix for that. Stephanie Schwartz might remember that from one day we were out in the backcountry together. Vet wrap. This is key. A lot of people don't know about vet wrap. It's semi-waterproof. If you have like a wound or something, some trauma, you can wrap it up in the interim and get out of there. My primer headlamp, which I keep on my handlebar case. Tons of tools. GPS. Ranger red tape to mark any trails to cabins and whatnot in a whiteout. Glow sticks. Electrical tape. Drama shears, these are nice. You can really cut anything with them. Sunglasses, want those in the backcountry so you don't get ear pro. Little mini duct tape I keep on me. Matches and Advil, I keep all this in my pockets. And spare riding gloves, you always want those. And I like to keep some resources with me. The evaluator from Avalanche Canada. Sometimes people are interested in just chatting about that type of stuff, so I can bring them out a visual. Often they'll have that in the cabin, so then I can say, oh yeah, this is what you carry around with you. The companion rescue sheet. If some people want to practice their companion rescue skills in the backcountry, I'll just have that so they can go on their way and figure that out. And a new resource is the Danger Radar. So this is going to help people identify hazards, avalanche hazards out there in terrain that's not rated by Avalanche Canada. So you can't use one of these. So anyone who's going to less populated areas is quite helpful. This is a new resource coming out this year. You're going to hear more about it. All right, and I'd like to thank Forest Power Sports and 100% and BCA for working with me this year. Thank you. Bye.